As Christ's disciple, you are promised victory over the world, the flesh, and the devil. Here is how. In your soul, your will is located between the door of the Spirit and the door of the flesh. The door of the Spirit is open, while the door of the flesh is closed. When you are willing to let Christ master your life, his death on the cross and his resurrection give you a life of victory. You can say, as the Apostle Paul did in Galatians 2:20, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. The way to have victory is to consider your flesh crucified, because this is an outgoing act of your will. The indwelling Christ helps you keep the door of the Spirit open and the door of the flesh closed. As you put your old self to death, the Spirit of God gives you life daily to live in victory. When you do this, you are filled with the Spirit of God. You are able to live in the Spirit. God takes control over your mind, your will, and your emotions, therefore your soul and your body. Now you can see the contrast between the natural person and the worldly Christian. You can also see that the spiritual Christian walks in the Spirit so that he or she will not yield to the desires of the flesh. Your victory is not automatic. As long as you live in your body, you continually fight the good fight of faith. But God promised you victory. Let me explain in practical terms how to let Christ master your total personality and how to let him enable you to live in the Spirit. Philippians 2:13 says, it is God who works in you to will and to act according to his good purpose. God helps you want to do his will and then gives you the ability to do it. By an act of your will, claim Galatians 2:20 as your own experience. Now, Ephesians 8:18 says, be filled with the Spirit. Ask the Holy Spirit to fill your personality and to keep filling you so that he can guide you, teach you, and give you the power to be a spiritual person. Romans 12:2 says, do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good and pleasing and perfect will. NIV Version. Galatians 5:22-23 says, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. NIV Version. As you allow the Spirit of God to fill you, he produces in you the fruit of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit helps produce the right emotions in you and helps you control your emotions. Romans 6:12-13 says, do not let sin reign in your mortal body, so that you obey its evil desires. Do not offer the parts of your body to sin as instruments of wickedness, but rather offer yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and offer the parts of your body to him as instruments of righteousness. Remember, your body is God's gift to you so that you can have an identity, participate in this world, and communicate with others. It is not evil in itself. Only to flesh or your sinful nature is evil. Jesus came to live in your body to make it an instrument of righteousness instead of an instrument of sin. Present your body and all of its members to God to do good. The idea of punishing the body because it is evil is not a Christian idea. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 19-20 says, do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You are bought at a price. Therefore honor God with your body. NIV Version. Romans 12:1 says, I urge you, brothers, in the view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. NIV Version. Christ's incarnation in a human body shows its potential for being restored to its original condition when Christ returns again and gives you a spiritual body like his. As you fully yield yourself to God, the Holy Spirit helps you master your mind, your will, your emotions, your body, your soul through the power of Christ. The life you live now, you live by faith in the Son of God, as Galatians 2:20 says. As you obey Christ and his command, he lives in you and you in him.